Don't even think about investing until you do this first. That thing is to open an emergency fund. Now, I am not a financial advisor. I am not a financial guru. I'm just a normal guy who went through the same shit. As a matter of fact, I would even advise you would open an emergency fund before you consider your debt. Well, it depends on your situation. If you are up to your ass in debt and you are falling behind on your payments, well then, stop watching this video. Go pay off your debt first, then come back. If you are losing out, if your life is falling apart, take care of your debt first. However, if your debt is being well managed, or if you have no debt, then I would consider opening an emergency fund first. Most people don't have the funds to cover a $400 emergency expense without resorting to shit like payday loans and credit cards. Now, there is a right way to use credit cards, but that's for another video. Just understand that this ain't it. My goal is to prevent you from having to resort to all that. Even if you don't plan on investing at all, you should get an emergency fund. Like, you need a place to store your cash before you start aggressively paying down your debt, assuming your debt is not completely out of hand. You need a place to store your cash, your emergency cash, before you start aggressively paying down debt. Otherwise, what are you gonna do if, let's say, you just spent 60% of your paycheck because you could, aggressively paying down a house loan or a car loan or something, and then right after that, an emergency happens. You can't unpay that debt to pay your emergency. Okay, so now that you know that you need an emergency fund, what is an emergency fund? An emergency fund is a separate account that is separate from your bank account where you store 3 to 6 months worth of your bare minimum living expenses. This is an account that you barely look at unless you're putting money in, and you don't use at all unless there is an emergency. This fund is not for saving up for a TV. This fund is not saving up for a dress or jewelry or whatever. This fund is only to be used in a case of an emergency. Get a piece of paper or a spreadsheet, whatever, and jot down all of the expenses that you have to pay in order to get by each month. Yes, you gotta get a budget. We're talking house payment, car payment, utilities, food, internet if you need it for work, any kind of insurance, whatever. All that stuff that you have to pay, not want to, in order to survive for that month. Add all those values together and you'll get a number. That number is how much you need to survive for that month. Multiply that times 3 and you got 3 months. That is the bare minimum that you should have in an emergency fund. Now that might seem like a daunting task, but you don't have to stick it in all at once, ladies. Even $20 a month is fine. That's a great start. That's better than nothing. I mean, as long as you put it in consistently, ladies. You just have to keep putting it in every month. Now, if you do your budgeting and you have absolutely no money whatsoever, you truly have no money at all at the end of the day after all your expenses, then you have an income problem, which is a whole other issue and outside the scope of this video. Maybe we'll talk about that another time. But at least getting your emergency fund up to $1,000 is a great start. So, where do you open this emergency fund? I would advise opening it in another place, someplace other than your normal checking account so that you are not looking at it every day. You could open a savings account with a brick and mortar like Chase, but those savings accounts are garbage. I think you can make maybe 0.01% a year in interest in your savings account. That is nowhere close to keeping up with inflation. That is practically giving your money away to them for free. For every $1,000 you leave in with Chase, you will earn roughly 10 cents a year. Fantastic, right? I recommend checking out FDIC insured high interest savings accounts. Now, there are many out there from you to choose from. The one I use is Ally Bank. At the time of this video, Ally Bank has an annual interest of 1.5%. It's not as good as it was before the Fed cut their rates, but it's better than most brick and mortar banks. Now the thing is that Ally is an online bank, so if you're comfortable with that, it is FDIC insured, so you're not at risk of losing your money. Now with Ally Bank, instead of earning 10 cents per $1,000, you are earning $15 per $1,000. Fantastic, right? Well, it's better than Chase, right? It's better than brick and mortar. So I would recommend opening your emergency fund in a place like Ally. But anyways, those are just my 2 cents. Next video, I will be talking about debt and how to pay that off. I'm pretty well versed in debt. I was in debt for the past 10 years, so I have a lot to talk about that. Anyways, I hope you found this video enjoyable. Thanks for watching. Watch this video. Take care.